What is up, Scream fans? My name is Trevor. Welcome back to my channel. Scream 5 or Scream 2022 just slashed its way into theaters this weekend, making it the 5th movie inside the Scream franchise, my personal favorite horror franchise. So we're going to rank all 5 of these movies from the worst to the best. Join me down below in the comment section, all spoiler fashion. Which of these movies are your favorite and which of these are your least favorite? And what do you think of Scream 2022? Go ahead and spoil it all down below in the comment section before we get into the ranking. If this is your first time here, hit the thumbs up button for me, hit that subscribe button for me. This is just my list. Definitely is not going to be yours. Might be surprised with a couple of my picks, but with that said, let's get started. Right at number 5 and in last place is going to be Scream 3, but I think no surprise. This movie really lost all the flash and all the flair and everything the first 2 Scream movies have. This movie did not have that. And when I was watching it, I just couldn't help but feel bored, not really get invested in these kills and in these characters. We have some of our returning characters coming back, as we always do, and we get a cool little cameo from the character Randy, my personal favorite Scream character. He comes back with a cameo as he obviously met his demise and he was killed by the Ghostface Killer as he was in Scream 2. So coming into this one, he has a little bit of a cameo, and I think Randy's flair and Randy's magic kind of narrating and kind of explaining all the rules in the movie really held this one back from being top tier Scream. And when Roman came out to be the killer, if that's even his name, it just didn't hit hard. I was at the point of, who is this guy? Not a big fan of Scream 3. I would say this is the only movie inside the Scream franchise that honestly I don't like. At number 4 is going to be Scream 5, Scream 2022. Now, I had monumental expectations for this movie because I'm a diehard Scream fan, and I was definitely disappointed. While I don't hate the movie, I just had some problems with it, mainly with how predictable they made who the killers are going to be. They kind of paint a picture of like exactly who is going to be. If you know the rules and how prior movies, Scream movies kind of came out, and you pay attention to the little things that OG characters are saying, you're going to find out right away. I mean, within the first 15 minutes, the character of Richie and Samantha are talking with Dewey, and Dewey literally says, it's the love interest. It's going to be him. And literally, if you're paying attention to that, I kind of went into my brain. I said, if he's the killer, that's going to be too obvious. Turns out Richie was the killer, and the character of Amber is also the other killer, who in the trailer, the character of Tara who gets attacked is literally texting. It kind of gave it away in the trailer. So definitely a little bit too predictable for me. I liked certain things about it. I think I always want a little bit more. The character of Dewey dying, something I predicted. So just a couple things that seemed a little bit too predictable for me. Maybe the trailers gave a little bit too much away. While it's not a bad movie, I sound like I'm completely just hating on it. Nothing too extraordinary, nothing too bad. I just wanted a lot more. At number 3 is going to be Scream 2. Now, this is a absolutely fantastic sequel that does something a little bit different than Friday the 13th. It kind of switches the first and second movie, where the killer in this movie is actually Billy Loomis's mother, and that's something I didn't see coming, and I really enjoyed that twist. The humor is there. The character of Randy, again, who I love so much, actually gets killed in this movie, unfortunately, and when that happened, kind of brought a tear to my eye. But with the character of Randy being killed by Ghostface kind of earlier on in the movie, it actually set the tone for the movie that this one's not really holding back. The sequel's coming even harder, and it's going to kill off characters we actually love. And Randy, again, my personal favorite Scream character, when he died, I was like, okay, this movie's really going to go for it. It's self-aware, it hits hard on what the first Scream does so well, and it's a very awesome sequel that I honestly love. At number 2 is going to be Scream 4. Now, I absolutely love this movie. It is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I love the character of Kirby. I love the new set of characters in this movie. Sidney Prescott's on a book tour, and that really sets her up for her to come back to Woodsboro, which makes her on edge and really sets the vibe for the movie. The character of Jill is teaming up with the character of Charlie, and Charlie's one of the people who explains all the rules, has a movie club. A character very likable, who I could kind of predict would be the killer, but I never thought that Jill Roberts, aka Sidney Prescott's niece, would ever be the killer. And her reasoning was, I think, the most valid of any of the Scream movies. Her reasoning was really set in stone. It was concrete. And I love the reasoning for it because her life was just filled with Sidney Prescott and she was over it. And I got behind that. I bought that reasoning, and honestly, it made the most sense to me of any of the Scream movies. And Jill Roberts, when she came out that she was a killer, my jaw dropped to the floor. It's the best plot twist I've ever seen in a movie. I have never been so surprised before because they never, ever hinted at her being a killer. Not once. You can kind of put some things together, but it always seemed like she had a reasoning for being gone when things were happening. We get a cameo from Randy in this movie. And this movie takes place like 10 years later, and it still captures the Scream magic. It is absolutely fantastic. It's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. But at number 1 is going to be Wes Craven's The Original Scream. And this is the epitome of a perfect slasher horror movie. Knowing what it's doing, redesigning the genre, and having a lot of fun. And that's exactly what this movie is. It's one of the funniest horror movies ever, and that's why I love the Scream franchise so much, because it's never taken itself seriously. It's having fun. It's just Schlockfest. They're watching horror movies and talking about movies and being fans of movies, like I am a fan of movies. And I feel like I can really relate with these characters, especially the character of Randy, again, who I love, who's at the party explaining to everyone, like, oh, you can't do this. If you say you'll be right back, you're going to be a goner. It explains all the rules and walks us through the movie. In a way, it's making fun of that slasher kind of predictable horror genre, but then it falls into that trap itself, and that's what makes it so beautiful. Billy and Stu are the best Ghostface killers, but I don't think they have the best reveal, because everyone knew it was going to be Billy. Didn't really know it was going to be Stu, but I can kind of see it. But these two are definitely the best killers. Billy and Stu are crazy, kind of funny, but extremely psycho, and they really fit the perfect tone for this movie, which is over the top, it's crazy, and it has a perfect ending with these two coming to be the killers. Not one, but two. It redesigns the genre. It is my favorite Scream movie. Join me down below in the comment section. How does your ranking compare? Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the thumbs up button for me. Hit that subscribe button for me. I absolutely love Scream. Had so much fun with this ranking. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.